Can I just go back to where Pat just started this sort of interchange, and that was about the polling you mentioned. Here's my concern. It's been my concern for some time, James, and at the risk of provoking you like the beginning of the program, this is what I'll put on the table. A primary vote of 42% wasn't anything that ever had me excited going into this campaign. It wasn't good enough. They needed a 44. The LNP lost in 2015 with a primary of 41.3, and Anastasia and the Labor Party got a primary of 37.5, the Greens got 8.5, combined left-wing vote 46. The numbers, yes, have gone in the direction of the LNP, but it's not been good enough. And James, you just mentioned the ambulance ramping. Like, this is the Courier Mail's editorial from mid-December 2014, and it says Newman's A-grade result for Queensland. It says fantastic things. It's almost like a piece of propaganda I could have written myself, but it was the fair dinkum. This is the Courier Mail's article. We reduced ambulance ramping to almost negligible levels. We had the best surgery waiting times in the nation. We kicked the bikies out of the state and had crime go down 10 to 15%, if we're talking crime. But have the LNP, James, ever in the last 10 years defended, not me, their record? They couldn't even say the name Newman or Newman government in this campaign, and their brand's been tarnished, because that's why the Labor Party over here not only are able to use some of the scare campaign tactics you've quite rightfully put on the table, but they could also say, here, Campbell Newman's here again, he's with Crisafulli, he's going to cut. Was
this because it was just so humiliating to reduce the Labor Party to 6 seats and then somehow manage to lose it in a turn?
Well, exactly.
It seems almost impossible that someone...
7.
Sorry, 7 seats.
Well, from a government...
Every seat counts.
We certainly
lost in the Tarago.
Well, Andrew, we lost the politics, obviously, in the campaign of 2015. I alluded earlier on to what I thought was a bad campaign because it didn't have a really strong, hard, negative edge that said... Sorry, Anastasia, that sort of talked about the Bligh government and focused on those people in the Tarago who were there.
There lies the difference. Labor and Labor supporters are comfortable going negative. Our guys, I can't tell you, and James will back me in on this, I can't tell you the number of the times we would go a negative, even if it was a small component of our campaign, and our supporters would stop you in the street saying, I don't like those negative.
And they're wrong.
Need to go negative. You've got to go negative. You've got to have an element of your campaign that's negative. It's got to be based on fact, and usually Labor have got enough of a shocking record you run on their record, basically. You don't make things up about abortion or whatever it might be. Because I do think Labor weaponised abortion, Anastasia. I think the LNP was slow to get on top of it, absolutely. I back you in there. Yes. And I think they left themselves open, that in war game it was coming. But I think it's a grubby Americanisation that we all got to this position when Crisafulli was targeted over the issue of it being a conscience vote or not. Well, it went through the parliament under Labor, as a conscience vote, as it should and should always be a conscience vote. So let's put abortion off to one side. I think what was missing in here was a comprehensive suite of policies from the LNP that you could go beyond the leaders and run with what was there on the table that was something you could digest. Now, crime, absolutely, some cost of living, but 50-cent fares, I tell you what, in 4 years' time, it'll be interesting.